All right. Well, hello, everybody. Second time's a charm, I guess. When I first did this, some reason it wasn't recognizing my microphone, but we're in business now, it appears. We are at the first game of the Friday, July the 10th schedule, 1987 American League replay. And keynote here is it is Friday, which means we're coming up on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. And after the Sunday games, will be time for the All-Star games. So we're getting close. But right now, we're at game number 590 overall in the replay. We're at Memorial Stadium in Baltimore, where singles are 1-3, home runs 1-11. There was one roster move made by Baltimore. Ron Washington was brought on board, and Rene Gonzalez either was sent down to Rochester or got injured. I'm not sure what the exact transaction was, but Gonzalez is not on the roster now. Minnesota 42-44, Baltimore 31-54. But Baltimore won this game real world 13-12. So we'll never know what happens till you roll the dice. Starting pitchers, Bert Blyleven for the Twins and Dave Schmidt for the Orioles. Look at Blyleven in the bottom of the first. Go to Schmidt here in the top of the first. Get his peripherals. Schmidt, 10-5 with a 377 earned run average in the real season. In the replay, Schmidt is 2-5 with a 3.96 ERA. 84 innings pitched, 88 hits, 17 walks, 37 strikeouts. He has a 3 wild pitch with a 0 balked. Terry Kennedy has a pass ball of 2. And Schmidt's a +3 on his hold. Kennedy's a 0, so it's a net +3. So the Twins might be trying to do some running in this one. Wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't put it past them. They've got a couple guys that can run, like Puckett and Gladden. Certainly can do some base stealing for you. All right, so leading things off for the Twins will be Dan Gladden. Gladden hitting just 229 on the replay, 5 homers, 22 driven in, hit 249 real world. And so if you wonder why the Twins are a little bit underperforming, that might be exhibit A right there. When your leadoff guy only hits 229, you're going to have trouble scoring some runs, most likely. But before the first pitch is thrown, we have the ceremonial first sip. I do feel like a load has been lifted off of me because of the fact that I finished the Rockies replay. So now I don't have that I felt like an obligation every night to come out and do that. And I pretty much did that every night, barring power outages and things like that. So that's just going to free up my evenings now. So I enjoyed the replay. I'm not a fan of modern baseball, so I suffered through it. But I did overall enjoy it. It would be much more enjoyable, I think, though, to play an older season where you have the older rules and you don't have the DH and all that good stuff. But it was fun in its own right. All right, here is Dan Gladden to start things off against Dave Schmidt. We're underway for the week. 5-2, and that's a fly ball to left field. Hauled in by Ken Gerhardt, one away, and Gladden continues to struggle. That'll bring up second baseman Steve Lombardozzi. He's hitting 247 on the replay, 4 homers, 21 driven in. He hit 238 in the real season. 3-9, and that's going to be a base hit for Steve Lombardozzi. And he's going to pretty much not go anywhere. Now with Puckett coming up, you're not going to run yourself out of an inning when you got Puckett and Herbeck coming up. But he's trying to set the table, and now up is Kirby Puckett. Puckett having a decent year, but underperforming by his real-world standards in this season. He's hitting 318, 13 homers, 43 driven in. For anybody else, that'd be a good year, but he hit 332 real-world, so it's a little bit underperforming. And Puckett is up against Schmidt. It's a 2-11, and that's going to be a fly ball to right field, and Larry Sheets will haul that in 2 away. And now it's going to be up to Kent Herbeck. If the Twins are going to get something on the board here in the first inning, Kent Herbeck hitting 289 on the replay, 20 homers, 59 driven in. He hit 285 real world. So he's pretty much around his numbers where he should be. That's a 2-2. And that's a foul out to Terry Kennedy to end the inning. Herbeck, a good year, but not quite good enough to make the All-Star team. We have Eddie Murray and Wally Joyner that will be on the All-Star team as first baseman. So Herbeck, good year, but not quite good enough, as they say. So we go to the bottom of the first. It is Minnesota nothing, and the Orioles will be coming to bat. And on the mound for the Twins will be veteran right-hander Bert Blyleven. Blyleven on the season, 15-12 with a 4.01 ERA. He did give up 46 home runs in the real season, so he is susceptible to the long ball for sure. And on the replay, let's get his replay numbers. Replay, he's 8-7 with a 4.52 ERA, 137 innings pitched. I'm sorry, 4.92 ERA. He's almost a whole point higher. 4.92 ERA. 137 innings pitched, 124 hits, 57 walks, and 106 strikeouts. He's got a wild pitch of 10, balk of 0. He is a +2 hold, and Butera is a +2, which makes him a +4. So guys like Wiggins might be able to do some stealing if the need arises or if the chance goes for it. Butera also a 14 on his pass ball. So here's Alan Wiggins, leadoff man. Not doing very well. He's hitting 193 on the replay, a homer and 12 driven in. He hit 232 real world. Switch hitter. It's a 6'11". That's a fly ball left field. X Gladden's a 2E5. 2-12. He'll get to that. E5 is a left fielder. Only error chances are 4, 14, and 18. 4, 14, and 18. And that is a 15. So he just barely is able to avoid that and make the catch, one away. And now that brings up Ron Washington. He just got brought up to the big squad, and Gonzalez sent down. Washington, this will be obviously his first at bat of the season. In the real season, he had 79 at bats and hit 203 with a homer and 6 runs batted in. So, but he's versatile defensively, can play all 3 infield positions other than first, and can also play left field in a pinch. So he's trying to give him, I guess, they're giving him some versatility defensively. So Blyleven to Washington, 5-7, and that is a ground ball shortstop X. Greg Gagne, 2E24 for Gagne, 2 and a 6. He'll get to that. E24 for Gagne. E24, he's got to avoid 4, 6, and then 15, 17, and 18. 4, 6, 15, 17, and 18. And that's a 6. So that'll be an error on Gagne. Right there. Gagne E24. The 6 is right there. So it's a 1 base error on Greg Gagne. E6. And Ron Washington will reach. And that'll bring up Cal Ripken. Washington, no threat to run, so will not be held. And here is Cal Ripken. Ripken hitting 251 on the replay. 12 homers, 43 driven in. He hit 252 real world. So right on line where he should be, you would think. 6-5, and that is a fly to center field. Puckett will haul it in. 2 down, and that'll bring up the lone representative for the Orioles, Eddie Murray. Definitely having an all-star type year, hitting 315, 21 homers, 49 driven in. He only hit 277 real world. So we got to pick somebody from the Orioles. He's the guy to go with. 6-7, switch hitter. Ground ball shortstop X. That is Gagne. Gonna get another chance. 2E24. 2 and a 7 is good. E24. This time he avoids the 6 and makes the play. And that will end the inning. So 1 inning is gone here at Memorial Stadium, and we're at no score. Remember, Baltimore won the real game 13-12 real world. So we'll see if we get that kind of run scoring in this one. Doubtful, but you never know what the dice will say. So top of the second we go, and Mr. Gary Gaetti. Third baseman Gaetti hitting 270 on the replay, 18 homers, 72 driven in. He hit 257 real world. 210, and that is a fly to center field. Well, that'll be hauled in by Fred Lynn, 1 away. Up now is the designated hitter, Roy Smalley. He's hitting 271 on the replay, 6 homers, 34 driven in. He hit 275 real world. Switch hitter, 1-7, and that is a base hit for Roy Smalley. He's not any threat to run, so they won't worry about holding him on. And that'll bring up right fielder Tom Brunansky. Brunansky on the replay is hitting 280, 15 homers, 42 driven in. He hit 259 in the actual season. That's a 5-9, and that will be a fly to center field. Again, Fred Lynn makes the play. 2 down, and now it's going to be turning it over to All-Star shortstop Greg Gagne. Greg Gagne is on the All-Star team. He will be the backup to Alan Trammell, but can't deny his year. 348 average on the replay, 9 homers, 42 driven in, and the only cycle I've ever had by Greg Gagne earlier in the season. He only hit 265 real world, so he's definitely done the overperforming thing. Here is Gagne. 112, and that's a Lomax with injury. So Lomax, there were already 2 outs, so it's not going to be a double play, but there is a chance that Greg Gagne will have to leave the game via injury and will need a new shortstop, probably Al Newman. 1-6, he can stay in the game. 7-20, he's got to come out. And he's got to come out. So that's going to be it for Gagne. Gagne will get 1 at bat, and that's it. And Al Newman will have to come in and take over at shortstop. So Newman will take over for Gagne via the injury. And Newman's going to be a 3E10, so we'll update these numbers here. Newman is now a 3E10, and Newman runs at a 15, not a 17. So Newman will be the shortstop in the second inning. So unfortunately for the Twins, they have an injury to Mr. Gagne. Nothing doing for them on the scoreboard. They get a single, nothing else. We go to the bottom of the second. It's no score. And now I need to bring in on the computer. We need to bring in Mr. Newman to play shortstop. Sure, that's not what the Twins were looking to do this early, but that's what happens when you roll an injury. It is a game day only injury because this is as played, but I still do in-game injuries. All right, bottom of the second we go. Good morning, Jason. Hope you're doing well on this Monday morning. Beautiful weather. Got the windows open, so you might hear noises in the background. I'm not sure, but windows are open because it's a nice low humidity, high 60, early 70 temperature out there. Beautiful for August. And just got to enjoy the fresh air when you can get it. It's a taste of fall. And I am looking forward to fall. After all this heat and humidity, I'm definitely looking forward to it. All right, Fred Lynn, the batter. And talk about an underperformer. Fred Lynn is only hitting 197 on the replay. 19 homers, 42 driven in. He had 253 real world. He's overperforming in home runs, but he's underperforming in batting average. It's kind of unusual. 3-6, he's going to strike out, and his batting average will again suffer. First strikeout for Blyleven. And that'll send up Ray Knight, who's normally a third baseman, but he is the designated hitter in this game. Knight hitting 214 on the replay, 9 homers, 30 driven in. He at 256 real world. Hello, Dr. D. 3-8 for Ray Knight, and that's a solid single for Ray Knight. Of course, he's one of the slower guys in the league, so he's not going to try to steal or even think about it. He will stand like a statue at first base. 1 away for the catcher, Terry Kennedy. Kennedy hitting 226 on the replay, 14 homers, 34 driven in. He had 250 real world. 1-5, and that's a ground ball second base. Hey, we've got our first Giovanni's Tailor Shop tailor-made double play of the game here this week. And it comes right here. 1-5 for Terry Kennedy against the right-hander is that ground ball second base A. That is a 4-6-3 double play tailor-made to end the inning. Giovanni's Tailor Shop sponsoring the tailor-made double play of the game. Giovanni's Tailor Shop in Lemoyne, Pennsylvania. If you're in that area and you have tailoring needs, be sure to stop by and see them. Tell them Demo sent you. They'll give you a discount. They're the unofficial sponsor of the channel, but the official sponsor of the Giovanni's Tailor Shop, tailor-made double play of the game. Good morning, Joe. All right. And speaking of morning, Joe, it's time for another sip. Get it while it's still warm, as they say. Top of the third we go. Still no score, and catcher Sal Butera is going to get the call to start this game. Butera hitting 180 on the replay, a homer in 6 driven inning, at 171 real world, so he's pretty much right where he should be. That's a 3-9, and he's going to fly it to left field, and Ken Gerhardt will haul it in, one away. Back to the top of the order for Mr. Gladden. Tomorrow we'll be in Toronto for Kansas City against Toronto. Charlie Lebrand and Dave Steve pitching matchup for tomorrow. Good morning, Dan. Good to see you. And coffee is still warm and still tasting really good right now. So got to have that to keep us going here. And hopefully we can avoid any Belinda Carlisles today. Here's Dan Gladden. That's a 6. Ooh, that thing went way back there. 6'4". 6'4" is a catcher X for Kennedy. Nobody's on base though. 4-E-4. 4 and a 10 for Kennedy. Should be a pop out of some sort. 4 and a 10. Yep, it's going to be a pop out, assuming there's no error. He is an E4, so the only errors are 16, 17, and 18. And so Kennedy will make the play. 2 away. 2 up, 2 down, and that will send up Steve Lombardozzi. And with the injury early on to Gagne, it limits the flexibility for the Twins because now you can't pinch it for Lombardozzi. You had to use Newman early, so there's no flexibility. There's no more infielders. Roy Smalley's the only other infielder. He's DH, so it really limits their flexibility. 6-7, and that's a ground ball shortstop X. That's Cal Ripken. 2 E20. 216 is good. E20. Only error for shortstop E20 is 4, 15, 16, and 17. And he avoids that easily. So 3 up, 3 down go the Twins. And this game is not reflecting the real world game, which was a slugfest, 13 to 12. But this game here, scoreless, into the bottom of the third. And if I had my druthers, this is the kind of game I like. I like pitching duels. I like close, low-scoring games. All right, Larry Sheets, the batter. Sheets playing right field in this one. He's hitting 317 on the replay, 12 homers, 27 driven in. He hit 316 real world, so he's pretty much right where he should be. 3-9 for Sheets, and he's going to draw a base on balls. That's the first walk issued by Blyleven. Sheets no threat to run. And here's Ken Gerhardt. He is an A bunter. But man, if you bunt, then you're putting this RBI in the hands of Wiggins and Washington, which I don't think is a wise move. So we're going to disdain the bunt. We're going to stain the bunt here. That is a 4-7, and that is going to be a ground ball second base X, potentially another double play chance. 2 E18 for Lombardozzi. 2 and 18 is a G1, so there will be a double play unless there's an error. E18, only errors are 3, 13, and 18. And that's going to be another Giovanni's Tailor Shop, tailor-made double play. Second double play in a row the Orioles have grounded into. 2 quick outs. Failed to mention Gerhardt's hitting 223 on the replay, 9 homers, 23 driven in at 243 real world. Of course, he's in a little bit, like a point less than that now, thanks to hitting into a double play. 2 quick outs, and Alan Wiggins, your batter. Joe, this project's been going on for over a year. So this is going to This is the only project I really have going on right now, other than the golf and the NBC game of the week, which is only on Saturdays. And the golf's only going to go on for about another couple of weeks, and then that season will be finished. Same with the NBC game of the week. Once we hit October, that'll be finished, and I'll be down to just this. And I may do something with Inside Pitch or some other game at some point, but right now, I really want to put my energies into you know focusing on this replay, especially coming up on the All-Star game. So here is 5-4, and that's an in-home run chance against Blyleven, but of course Wiggins has weak power, so it will only be a single. Single for Wiggins. That does mean, though, he's going to get a chance to get a lead and try to steal. Wiggins needs a 4 through 6 or a 12. 4, 5, 6, or 12. Gets the 4, he gets the good lead. 18 being held as a 16 plus 4 is a 20. And with Butera having a T7 throwing error rating, he's just gonna eat the ball, because the odds of throwing Wiggins out are not. You need a 20. It's the only way you can get him. So only a 5% chance to throw him out, but a bigger chance to making a throwing error and sending him to third base and all that stuff. So might as well just let him take the base and be done with it. That'll bring up Ron Washington. His first at bat, he reached on an error by Gagne. So he's technically 0 for 1 on the season, as he's just brought up to replace Rene Gonzalez. Clutch situation for Washington, and he's not very good at it. 2-3 and 3-4 are hits that go away. It's a 6-8, and that's a fly to left, so Gladden will haul that in, and we got 3 scoreless innings here at Memorial Stadium. A couple of double plays hit into by the Orioles have really taken away that momentum. And we go to the 4th, no score. It'll be the heart of the order for the Twins, though. Puckett, Herbeck, and Gaetti, their big 3, coming up against Dave Schmidt. Puckett, first time up, he flew to right field. That's a 5-11. And a 5-11 is a ballpark single check, but at Memorial Stadium, it's only a 1-3, so not very good. And that's going to fail. So that will be a liner to short. 1 away, and that's going to bring us to Kent Herbeck, first baseman. This is a 3-7, and that's a walk. First walk issued by Schmidt. Herbeck, really not much of a threat to run, though. Brings up Gary Gaetti. Gaetti is a double play machine. Look at all these ground ball A's he's got here, right in a row. Over here as well. So he must have hit into a lot of double plays. First time up, he flew to center, though. Oh, that one missed. How did that happen? Got my coffee cup in the way of trying to roll my dice. That's what the problem is. Oh, Dan. It very well could be once in a while, not every night, obviously. But now that I've got some freedom at night now with nothing going on, I may go ahead and do all games and not play any offline. And I may get the 5 during the week. There's 7 games a day, calendar wise. Get the 5 Monday through Friday. The other 2 I can obviously fit in the evenings, perhaps. So I may very well do that. That's definitely is on the agenda, on the table to as a strong option. 111 for Gaetti, and that's a ground ball second base A. There's that double play machine we were talking about. Ground ball second base A. That's another double play. Another Giovanni's Taylor Shop double play. And after the Orioles hit into 2, it's only fair the Twins hit into 1, so they can see how it feels. So the Twins are gone here in the 4th. They come away empty-handed. Okay, I'm sorry, Joe. I misinterpreted what you were asking. If that was the case, I misunderstood what you were asking. Thank you for clarifying that, Dan. All right. Bottom of the 5th, or it could be something else, but I don't really want to start any new project until the golf and the NBC game of the weeks are out of the way, where I only have this going, and then I would have the energy maybe to put it into something else. But right now, I want to kind of, I'm trying to downsize, to use an analogy, maybe downsize and focus. Instead of being 100 yards wide and 2 inches deep, I'd rather be 10 yards wide and 2 feet deep, if that makes any sense. All right, here's Cal Ripken. 4-7, and that's ground ball second base X. So that's Lombardozzi, 2E18. 2 and a 5, it's good. E18 and a 12. I don't think that'll be a problem. E18, nope, 13 is the error, not 12. So good play for Lombardozzi. Another factor is, as we're heading to the fall, my yard work job is going to increase exponentially as the yard is surrounded by trees, pine trees and regular trees. So I'm going to have leaves, pine cones, pine needles, and sticks to clean up all year long. And as we get later in the year, the daytime hours are going to be less and less. So I'm going to want to spend, a lot of my time out there doing that. And so that's going to take away from, trying to play like 3 or 4 projects at one time. I know I'm retired, but I still have other things to do, other life to live and stuff like that. So I really want to focus on just a couple of things. All right, here is Eddie Murray. If it was just regular trees, it would not be a big deal. If all I had to deal with was leaves, I'd be fine. But the most annoying thing are those pine cones and the pine needles. You try to rake stuff up and the pine needles just jam your rake up, clog it all up, and it's just a big mess. If all I had was regular leaves, I'd be happy. But it's all this other stuff that's falling. All right, here's Eddie Murray. That's a 5-10, and that's going to be a ballpark blast against Bert Blyleven. 1-11 for Eddie Murray. This would be his 22nd home run of the replay if he can get it. 1-11, and it's going to just be a deep fly to right. So Murray just misses it. 2 away now for Fred Lynn. Murray thought he had one, but Bernansky at the track makes the catch, and here's Fred Lynn. 4-4, and that is a fly ball center field X. We know Puckett's a 1, so we know he's going to get there. E6 is the only error chance. And for center fielder, E6, 3, 4, 15, and 18 are the only errors. And that is a 16, so he just does avoid it. Or does he? Let me double. Yeah, E6. 15 was the error. That's a 16, so he does. Oh, yeah, my buddy from high school, we've already texted. We're supposed to be going to a game this Friday night. School has just started here, the first day of school, I believe, because I saw school buses this morning. So I don't keep up with the school schedule, but obviously school is in session now, which is about right. When I was little, we went for a week, the week before Labor Day. We go a week and then get the Labor Day off. There was a time where schools didn't start till after Labor Day, and now they're back to doing it this time around. So I don't have little kids, so I don't keep up with that kind of stuff. I just see the school buses going around. All right. So nothing due for the O's in the 4th. We go to the 5th, no score. Remember, it was 13-12 real world, so we're not getting the runs that they got in the real game. Dave Schmidt back out to face Roy Smalley. 5-11, and that's a ballpark blast for Smalley. He does have normal power. So 1-11, Roy Smalley will hit home run number 7 on the replay. And he does, right on the number. Home run, Roy Smalley finally breaks the scoreboard, breaks on top of the scoreboard, gets somebody on the scoreboard. Home run number 7 for Roy Smalley. He only hit 8 real world. This is at bat 205. He had 309 at bats real world. He's got his 7th home run and his 35th RBI. He only had 8 home runs and 34 RBI real world. So he's already surpassed his RBI, and now he's 1 away from his home run total. And the Twins now lead it 1-0. And that brings up Tom Brunansky. Brunansky 4-4, and that's another home run shot. 1-7. 8 to 20 is a double. And that's gone. Brunansky, back-to-back jacks. After talking about how there weren't any runs being scored, all of a sudden, we got back-to-back jacks. Brunansky, his 16th home run of the replay. He had 32 real world. So he's pretty much right where he should be. He's about halfway through his at-bats, and he's got 16 home runs. 43 runs batted in. He had 32 home runs, 85 batted in real world. So he's pretty much got his numbers right at the half mark. And it's quickly 2-0, back-to-back home runs all of a sudden. And now here's Al Newman. This is his first at-bat since coming in for the injured Gagne. Newman hitting 268 on the replay. No homers, 12 driven in. He hit 221 real world. That's a 3-6, and he's going to fly it to right field. Larry Sheets will put it away. 1 down. For the catcher, Sal Butera. 6-4, and that's a catcher X. Catcher X, and that is Kennedy, a 4E4, but nobody's on base to worry about a pass ball or anything like that. 4 and a 15. 4 and a 15 is going to be a foul out, assuming there's no error. His error rating is an E4. He's got to avoid 16, 17, and 18. Someone got to have any more coffee, I think. And that's going to be a 5. It's a rare play, but with nobody on base, I don't think that's going to matter, but I'll double check it. We had a 4 and a 15 was a P/F. So let's go to P/F rare play. The batter swings and misses the pitch, but he is awarded first base when the umpire calls catcher's interference. Okay, so there is going to be a rare play here. It is catcher's interference on Terry Kennedy. So you don't get that very often, obviously. See if I can show this to you guys close up here. The 15 was the roll on the 4, which is a P/F. So coming over here to P/F for the rare play, it says batter swings and misses the pitch, but he's awarded first base when the umpire calls catcher's interference. So Butera will reach on the catcher's interference. So that finally truly is a rare play that comes across. So catcher's interference. That is considered an error, apparently, because it just put an error up on the Baltimore line score. So apparently that's considered an error, catcher's interference. So if that run scores, it would be unearned. All right, here's Dan Gladden. I mean, why didn't Butera go to first base? Hold on. Put in the catcher's interference. I thought it would send Butera to first base automatically, but it did not. So now I got to be more careful how I put it in. It told him to stay at his base, and it should be go to first. Okay. Now we're there. Okay. Now we're there with Dan Gladden. That's a 6-5, and that's a pop out to Wiggins at second base for out number 2. And that'll bring up Lombardozzi. That's a 2-6 for Lombardozzi. He's going to ground it to Ron Washington to end the inning. So the catcher's interference does not make any difference as far as runs go. But the 2 solo home runs, first by Smalley, second by Brunansky, they certainly make a difference. And we go to the bottom of the 5th. It is 2-0 Minnesota. Bert Blyleven given a 2-0 lead to work with. And he'll be facing Knight, Kennedy, and Sheets for the O's. Do appreciate all you guys who tune in every morning for these replays, games. Makes it much more fun when to have interaction than just sitting there. I mean, it's fun playing it, but still more fun to have a little interaction once in a while. So here is Ray Knight. Especially when you catch me when I make an error, that's always nice to make sure I'm getting the game right and I don't misread something. Ground ball second base X. That's going to be Lombardozzi, 2E18. 2 and a 10 is good. E18 and an 8, that's not a problem at all, I don't believe. I'll double check it, but I don't think it is. Nope, 13, 3, and 18 and only errors, so good play for Lombardozzi. And Knight is out of there. 1 down for Terry Kennedy. 3-8 for Kennedy. That's a strikeout. Only the second strikeout for Blyleven. Kind of low on the strikeouts, but he's putting zeros on the board, and that's what counts. Here's Larry Sheets. 1-9 for Sheets. That's a 2-out base hit for Larry Sheets. But he's no threat to run either, so he will not be held. And Ken Gerhardt, the left fielder. That's a 4-7, and that's a ground ball second base X. So once again, we're checking Lombardozzi, 2-18. 2 and a 6 is good. 2 and a 6 is a G2 pound, and the pound would be relevant if they were holding Sheets on, but they were not, so it's irrelevant. And again, the E18 just has to avoid 3, 13, and 18. And it's another rare play. This is probably bounding off the mound kind of thing. So it's a G2 rare play. Yep, it's deflecting off the pitcher, the crappy stuff, so we're not even going to worry about that. So 4-3 ground out to be done with it. I agree, Jason. I agree. It's all about community. I know I've seen some stuff on YouTube recently where people have taken time off and, I guess a mental break or whatever the case may be. Maybe life's getting in the way. I don't know. I certainly understand that. I have the luxury of being retired, so I don't have to take time off because I'm not, trying to fit these things in around a work schedule. So that's a benefit that I have that I realize a lot of people do not. But I certainly understand if they need to take time off and recharge the batteries or whatever the case may be. Maybe they lost some of their passion for the replay and they want to get it back. There's all kinds of reasons people take off and do that. But I think some of them will be coming back very shortly. So some people said it's like a summertime blues thing. I don't know if that's true or not. Could be. Here's Kirby Puckett. That's a 5-8. 5-8 to fly to right field. 1 away. I don't know the whole Spokane Steve story, but I think it had something to do with some wildfires in his area. Did he get displaced or something where he had to move out? And he's waiting for those to come back. I think that's what I heard going on. I don't know for sure, to be honest with you. But I know he's been away for a while and is probably looking forward to getting back. I know a lot of people enjoy his afternoon Strat-O-Matic 1968 games. I know I did. And again, I'm jealous of his penmanship. He has the best penmanship on YouTube by far. Here's Kent Herbeck. Of course, that's a low bar as well. 5-10 is a walk. And Herbeck will draw the walk. And I believe that's only this. He's walked twice. Schmidt's walked 2 batters, and both of them have been Herbeck. And that'll bring up Gary Gaetti, who hit into a double play his first time up. That's a 1. So wild pitch chance on Schmidt is only a 3. So no wild pitch. 66. I'm sorry, Dr. D, you are correct. 66. I was thinking of Jeff Guterman was doing 68. You're right. Spokane's doing 66. Here's Gaetti, 6'4", catcher X. This time it is with a runner on base. It's going to be a chance of a pass ball or wild pitch, most likely, especially with a 3. So a 4 and a 3 is actually it's going to be a straight out wild pitch. There's nothing even to check on that other than error. And there's no error there. So it's going to be a wild pitch. W/G, it's an automatic wild pitch. So Schmidt uncorks the wild pitch. And that takes the double play out of the equation now. So other than a low max, there won't be a double play now. Here is Gaetti. That is a 110, and that's a ballpark blast. So you won't have to worry about a double play here. If it gets the 1 to 11, it'll be a ballpark blast. It'll be a 2-run shot. And it's 15, though, so it's just a deep fly to left. Gerhardt makes the play at the track, and Schmidt exhales. So 2 away. Clutch situation now for Roy Smalley. He homered his first time up. It's a 1. So once again, Schmidt has a chance at a wild pitch, 1-3, and that's an 8. So no wild pitch. Check Smalley for the clutch situations. 1-7. He will lose a hit, and that's about it. 6-9. Switch hitter batting left. It's a pop up to Ripken, and that will end the inning. Funny that you say that, Dr. D. I think that's something that makes the community really good as far as the people who broadcast on YouTube, is everybody's kind of got a different personality and different presentation. So you're getting a variety. Whether you watch RJL, Dave Gardner, ID Jester, Al Red Sox fan, Kirk Berglund, Spokane Steve, or myself, or whoever else. I'm sure I'm missing some folks, Utah Mike and some others. Everybody's different. So, you're not going to see cookie cutter presentations. Everybody's got their own layout and what they're doing. And of course, different people playing different games. I believe Spokane Steve and myself are the only ones playing cards and dice Strat-O-Matic. I know Utah Mike does computer versions. RJL does inside pitch. Kirk Berglund does all kinds of stuff. Gardner does all kinds of stuff, mostly hockey, when he's not walking around and cutting corners. And, different people have different things. So variety, as they say, is the spice of life. All right, bottom of the 6th we go. That was actually the fatigue inning for Schmidt, so he only gave up a walk, so he's okay for fatigue. But he still trails 2-0, but it's not his, he's not getting any run support. So what are you supposed to do? All right, Alan Wiggins, the top of the order coming up. Can't pinch hit yet because we're only in the 6th inning. My rule is you got to wait till the 7th unless there's a pitching change. And there has not been a pitching change. So Wiggins will swing it. It's a 1-5, and he's going to line it right to Herbeck. 1 away. 1 down for Ron Washington. Yes, that's the same Ron Washington that managed the Texas Rangers to a couple of World Series appearances. I know he's a coach with the Oakland A's. I'm not sure where. I know he's in baseball somewhere. I just don't know where. I assume he still is anyway. Let's see. Washington 0-for-2. 4-6, and he's going to draw the base on balls. And for Blyleven, that is his second walk to go with 2 strikeouts. Washington, though, is no threat to run. And that'll bring up Cal Ripken. He is the tying run at the plate. Oh, that went over the edge. Got to redo that. The white die went over the edge. Got to go through the chute. 2 nines, a strikeout. That's the 3rd strikeout for Blyleven. So it's up to Eddie Murray, the lone all-star on the Orioles team. He is their representative. That will be at the All-Star game later on in a couple of weeks when we get there. But Eddie Murray, 6-5, and that's a strikeout for Blyleven. That's going to end the inning. We go to the 7th. It is still 2-0 Twins. Still 2-0 Twins. Two nothing Twins, and Tom Bernansky is up. If Schmidt, he homered his last time up. That's a 5-10, and that's a ballpark single check, but it's not very good. 1-3, and that will be a liner to short. 1 away, and that will take us to Al Newman. Newman 0-for-1 since coming in for the injured Gagne. 3-9, and that's a walk. 3rd walk issued by Schmidt, and now Newman will be looking to run. So he's got a 2 through 8 or a 10 to get the good lead. A 9, he's caught automatically. He's got to avoid the 9 for sure. 5 will be just fine. He gets the lead. 15, starter number. -2 for being held is a 13, but then the +3 for Schmidt is a 16. So 1-16, he will steal it successfully. And he does. Stolen base for Al Newman. Gets him into scoring position, takes away the double play possibility on the ground ball. And now we have Sal Butera. That's a 5-7, and that's a ground ball second base X. That is Wiggins. He's a 4E15. 4 and a 16. He will get to that. E15. E15. Got to avoid 3, 14, 6, 3, 14, 17, and 18, which he does. So it's a 4-3 ground out. Newman will take third base. So now there's 2 away with Gladden at third base, or Gladden coming up with the runner Newman at third base. Clutch situation for Gladden. In the clutch, he will lose a hit on a 2-8 and also one on 3-3. So he's got to avoid those 2 numbers. That's a 6-5, and that's a pop out to Wiggins, and that will end the inning. So Schmidt still going along pretty well. 7 innings. Quality start, no doubt, just not getting any run support. When your team puts a goose egg on the board, it's hard for you to win. I think if the Orioles, when this game started, if you said Schmidt's going to give you 7 innings and 2 runs, they'd have took it in a heartbeat. But Blyleven's just been a little bit better. This is a fatigue inning for Blyleven now, number 7. Keep an eye on that. Fred Lynn. I totally agree, Dan. I know you're I mean, I don't know for sure, but I have a pretty good idea maybe that you're not the biggest fan of the History Maker Golf. You're more of a baseball guy. And I looked at History Maker Golf for about 3 or 4 years because I used to play golf in high school and was decent at it. I used to shot about the mid 80s, nothing great, but nothing, better than the average Joe, but that's not saying a whole lot. But I really enjoy the game itself. And so I really wanted to get into that. But then I looked and I was like, man, that's a cash cow waiting to happen. You got to buy the game, then you got to buy all these courses and blah, blah, blah. But then I thought about it. You're correct. You think about it, return on investment. How many hours of entertainment are you getting for your dollar? I mean, 87 said, yes, I have gotten so much ROI on this set, it's pathetic. But there's other sets I have from Strat-O-Matic that I bought that I never played. So I guess it kind of evens out. I mean, I've got seasons that have been sitting there and I've sorted them, put them away in their envelopes, and they just kind of sat there. So what are you going to do? It's just the way it is. But now that it was a one-time expense for the golf sets and everything. See the courses and all that stuff. So I don't have to buy those anymore. All I need to buy next year is this golfer season set that the players, and those are about $20 something. They're not very expensive at all. So my expenses going for next year are almost non-existent because I have everything already in place. So that's a good thing. And for games like Strat-O-Matic and stuff, I've already got the board game, so that saves that expense. But yeah, I own Strat Hockey. I own all the Strat games. I own Strat Hockey, Strat Football, and Strat Basketball. They're collecting dust in the downstairs. I tried playing them a few times. The football game looks very hard to play solo. I don't know if there's a good solo way to do it. Basketball, I'm just not a big fan of the NBA. I just bought it just to buy it. Hockey, I would like to get into that because that seemed like it was interesting. Maybe I can try to get into it at some point. I don't know. But baseball is my first love, and so I feel like if I'm playing any other game other than baseball, it's taking me away from my baseball time. So that's why I stick mostly to baseball. But yeah, I totally agree about the hobby. I mean, there's lots of other expensive hobbies I could be doing that would cost a lot more money than the little bit I spend on what I do here. So that I think it's an equitable trade, as they say. All right, here's Fred Lynn. I remember this is the fatigue inning for Blyleven. That is a 4-3, and that's going to be a fly ball right field X. Brunansky is a 2E4. 216, he'll get to that. E4, the only errors on E4 are 3, 4, 15, and 18. and he will not worry about any of those numbers. He puts that away easily, one away, and that'll bring up Ray Knight. We're going to get a pinch hitter for Ray Knight. We're in the 7th inning, so we can pinch hit now. So we're going to go to Jim Dwyer. Put him in as a pinch hitter and leave him in as the DH. Jim Dwyer will be coming on. Always thought Ray Knight was a strange choice for DH. I didn't really understand that one. I would have used Dwyer in a heartbeat instead of him, but I'm not Cal Ripken Sr. either. So, all right. Here's Jim Dwyer. He will get the call to pinch hit, bring him on in the computer, and get his numbers. Jim Dwyer. On the real season, Jim Dwyer, 274 average, 15 home runs, and 241 at bats. If you extrapolate over about 500 or 600 at bats, you're talking 35, 36 home runs at least. So he's got good power against righties. Now, he can't do much against lefties. He only faces lefties 5% of the time. But if you put him in there against righties, you know, he can do it. So Jim Dwyer on the replay is hitting 266, 7 homers, 19 driven in. Trying to get something started. 1-3, and that's a ballpark single check, but it's not very good. 1-3. And that will be a liner to second base. 2 down for Terry Kennedy. Kennedy is 0 for 2. 3-4, and that's another ballpark single. And again, it's going to fail most likely on a 1-3. And it does. So it's a ground ball to Gaetti. So Bert Blyleven will keep full endurance into the 8th inning as he is pitching a really good 3-hit shutout right now. Go to the top of the 8th. It'll be Lombardozzi, Puckett, and Herbeck. There is a left-handed. Let's see about the Oriole bullpen. Do they have any lefties? I don't think they do. That's the problem. They don't have any lefty relievers. Everybody they have in their bullpen is right-handed. And these are the active. These are the active bullpen arms that are available. Niedenfuhr, Kinnunen, Corbett, Arnold, and Williamson. Those are the guys available, all right-handed. I'd love to bring in a lefty to face Herbeck, but I don't have one. That's the problem. So we'll deal with it. Schmidt will start us off. 4-4, and that's an in-home run, 1-7. 8-20 is a triple. He does have normal power, so 1-7 would be gone. And it's a 2. It's gone. Lombardozzi, a home run, 3rd solo home run of the game for the Twins, is accounted for all their runs. A 3rd solo home run. Lombardozzi, that is home run number 5 on the replay. He had 8 real world. That's RBI number 22 for him. Now 3-0. And now the Oriole bullpen will have a right-hander loosening as they have right-handed action. Tony Arnold loosening in their bullpen. Tony Arnold, a right-hander. Here is Puckett. 1-8 for Puckett, and that's a base hit. So Schmidt going to be reaching fatigue here very shortly. And Puckett is up there with a chance to get a lead. Needs a 4, 5, or 6 to get the good lead. Doesn't get it, he'll hold, and here's Herbeck. Only hope they have is to get him to ground into a double play. That's a 4-5, and that's not going to happen. 1-5 is a triple. 7-20 is a double. That'll be a double for Kent Herbeck. The double is assumed to go to center field. Puckett 17 being held as a 16. 0 on there. 1-16, they're sending. 1-16, he's coming home. And he's in there. So it's an RBI double for Kent Herbeck, and that will do it for Mr. Schmidt. He goes 7+, but he apparently hit a wall here in the 8th inning. And they will go on to Tony Arnold out of the bullpen. So Tony Arnold is in for Dave Schmidt. And we can't finalize the numbers on Schmidt because he is responsible for Herbeck, but we can do most of it. And now the computer is telling me that Schmidt is officially tired, but I was going to take him out anyway. So he's going to give up 7 hits, 4 runs, but he is responsible for Herbeck as well. He is going to walk 3 and strike out. I don't see, he didn't strike anybody out. That's really unusual. No strikeouts for Schmidt in this game. That's highly unusual. So we go to the bullpen, go to the computer, and bring in Tony Arnold. And none of the bullpen options in Baltimore are any good. So it doesn't really matter who I bring in. I think that they're just bad all the way around. Can't sugarcoat it, that's for sure. Tony Arnold, 0-0 with a 5.77 ERA and 53 innings of pitching. Check his replay numbers. He's 0-4 with an 8.40 ERA. 30 innings pitched. He's given up 57 hits, 6 walks, 14 strikeouts. So the numbers are not pretty for sure. And Gary Gaetti will lead us off against Mr. Arnold with Herbeck at second, nobody out. That's a 4-8. 4-8 is a single, 1-14, 15-20. He lines it to Ripken. And that's a single, 1 star. Herbeck will take third. Runners are at the corners. Nobody out still. Gaetti not going to try anything as far as stolen bases go. And here's Roy Smalley. Infield for the Orioles is going to play in. They got to get out. They can't afford any more runs here. Smalley, 2-7, and that's a walk. That's going to load the bases. Thing is going from bad to worse for the Orioles. Schmidt did okay, but now you're into that bullpen, and that's where the Orioles fall apart, is if their bullpen. Here's Bernansky, bases loaded, nobody out, infield still in. That's a 5-3. Ground ball first base C, so they will get the force, I do believe, at the plate. Let's check the official Strat Super Advanced base running and see what they say. Bases are loaded, infield in. It's a ground ball C is a 7. 7 says batter safe, lead runners out. So Murray will throw it to Kennedy to force Herbeck at the plate. It's going to go 3-2 on the fielder's choice. Everybody else moves up 90 feet, and Bernansky reaches on the fielder's choice. Three to 2 on the putout. If you're scoring at home, you know you should be. So now that brings up Al Newman. And the infield now playing for the double play, as a double play would get them out of an inning. 6-6, but it's going to be a straight out triple. Look at this. How many times does a pitcher card have a straight out triple? But 6-6 against the lefty is a straight out triple off of Tony Arnold's card. A 6-6. That's going to clear the bases. Bases loaded triple. And this one is blown wide open now, as Al Newman gets the triple. Newman had 5 triples real world, so no, no surprises there. And Arnold, he's going to try to get through the inning if he possibly can, but it doesn't look good. Doesn't look good at all. Yeah, Dr. G, unfortunately, a triple doesn't help the cause doesn't matter where the infield's playing at that point. But maybe he can get through with Butera. Infield still in with Butera. That's a 6-7, and that is a ground ball shortstop X. Looking at Ripken. He's a 2E20. Oh, a 2 and a 2. That's just terrible. Talk about bad luck. 2 and a 2 is going to be a single, and that's going to score the run. And that's going to be probably it for Arnold. I don't think he can go any further either. RBI single from Butera. Check the error, E20 and a 6. There's no error there. But that's it for Tony Arnold, as he couldn't get the job done. He only accounts for 2 outs. I'm sorry, only 1 out, rather. So he goes a third of an inning. Let's see, he gives up 3 hits and a walk. And now who do you bring in for the Orioles? It's like they're all terrible. So let's see. We're going to go to Mike Noonan because we're pretty much in mop-up duty at this moment right now. So Mike Noonan, I guess that's how you pronounce his name. Never heard of him. He's in. He was 0-0 with a 4.95 ERA in real world, no saves. So we'll see what he can do as he faces Dan Gladden. Get the numbers on Noonan from the computer. See what he's done on the replay to this point. Hasn't pitched much, I don't think. Noonan is 0-1 with a 9.39 ERA, 8 innings pitched, 10 hits, 7 walks, and 1 strikeout in 8 innings of pitching. So there you go. That's just sad. 2 triples and 53 innings pitching, then I guess that's why they certainly put a triple on his card. It makes sense. Thank you for that, Dan. Definitely makes sense. So here's Gladden with Butera at first and Noonan on. And that is a 4-4. That's a ballpark single check. That might help him out because it's only a 1-3. But the way it's going, it's turned to a base hit. The devil die just tells the Orioles, you know what? You stink, and we're going to let you know you stink. So they're going to bat around. Lombardozzi, who led off the inning with a home run, is going to step up again, this time facing Noonan. First and second, still only 1 out. That's a 5-9. That's a walk. That'll load the bases. Bases are now loaded with only 1 out for Kirby Puckett. As if things don't go from bad to worse, you now got to deal with Puckett, Herbeck, and Gaetti. No wonder Cal Ripken Sr. is losing his hair. 5-9, and that is another walk. That's going to force in a run. Butera will score. Bases remain loaded for Kent Herbeck. Noonan can't get it done. Back-to-back walks for Noonan. And now he has walked, in 8 innings of pitching, he's walked 9, struck out only 1. And if you're still looking for that magical double play, if they can get it, here's Herbeck. 6-11, and that's a ground ball first base C, so that's going to be a 3-1 put out. But the run's going to score. They were playing for a double play, so that will score the run. But they do get the second out, which I guess is important too, because you want to try to get out of the inning as best you can. You know the game's already over, so there's no sense playing the infield in, and it's pointless at this point. You're not saving anything because the game's already over. All right, here's Gaetti. It's still a clutch situation by definition. 6-11, that's a strikeout, though, for Noonan. And I guess Noonan will come back and finish the game to save the rest of the bullpen. So let's see. We get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-run inning for the Twins. And they lead it 10-0. So they're holding up their end of the bargain for the runs, but the Orioles are not. And Blyleven had a lot of rest out there. Very long inning, so see if he can come back and not feel any ill effects of the long layoff. Here's Sheets. 2-7. He struck him out. Well, if he had a long layoff, it's not showing because he strikes out Sheets 1 away. Orioles just a bad team. I mean, there's some bad teams in this 87 American League. Texas, the Orioles, and Cleveland. I mean, there's just some bad. When you play those games, you're just going to get games like this. Whoops, nothing you can do about it. Let's see, 6-11. That's a ground ball pitcher X. Blyleven is a 2E21. 2 and a 3, though, might be a base hit. In fact, I'm sure it probably is. 2 and a 3 for a pitcher. Let's see here. No, it's actually a G3, so he'll actually get to that. How about that? But he is an E21, so he's got to avoid 7, 11, 13, 14, 17, and 18. Whoops. Just dropping stuff all over the place here on it. That is a 12. So I think he's going to avoid that. E21. There's an 11 and a 13 and 14, but no 12. That's just the kind of day it's been for the Orioles. You think you get an error out of a pitcher, and he avoids the error numbers. So 2 down now for Alan Wiggins. And at this point, down 10-0, pinch hitting is pretty much irrelevant. Don't see any reason for it, unless you want to give some guys an at-bat. But I think Wiggins needs some at-bats. So 5-5, and that's an in-home run chance, 1-7. Of course, he's got weak power. So a single 1-7, double 8-20, and that's a single for Alan Wiggins. But of course, down 10-0, he's not going to steal. And I'll bring up Ron Washington. 4-8, and that's a strikeout for Blyleven. There's a dot there, but he's not tired yet. He gets the strikeout, and he's going to go ahead and go for the complete game for sure. Boggs and Whalewander. I can see Boggs doing it. I can't see Whalewander doing it, but I guess maybe if it was in Tiger Stadium, perhaps that might have, the spaciousness out there might have done something with that. So top of the 9th, we could go to a position player pitching, but I think I'll just stick with Noonan. But I do need to mop up and clear up the, oh, my stuff's getting all over the place here. Why is my stuff moving around? Here we go. I need to go to the box score and fill in these pitcher lines for the Orioles, as bad as they are. Get the official totals here. Schmidt's going to give up 5 runs. They were earned. Arnold's going to give up 4 runs. They are earned. So far, Noonan has given up 1 run. But he's got the 9th to pitch, so he has more time to give up more runs, obviously. So top of the 9th we go. 10-0 ball game. 10 runs, 11 hits, and an error for the Twins. No runs, 4 hits, and an error for the Orioles. So Gary Gaetti. Let's move this over here. Gary Gaetti will lead things off. Whoops, that went over the outside. I'm having a hard time with this left hand trying to get these dice in there. 4-9. That's a ground ball, shortstop X. That makes sense, Dan. Let's see. 2E20, 2 and a 9. Ripken's going to be okay. E20 and a 9. I don't think that's going to be a problem either. Nope, no 9 there. So Ripken will make the play on. Actually, I should be on Smalley, not Gaetti. Now, what did I roll here? Shortstop X. I think I rolled a thing here. So the same number against the lefty. So Smalley grounds out to short. 1 away. I just forgot to move the cards is all. So Smalley grounds to Ripken. 1 away. Here is Tom Brunansky. It's a 6-7, and that's going to be a base hit for Brunansky. So Smalley grounds to short. Brunansky base hit. The Twins, that is their 12th hit of the game. And here's Al Newman. He tripled his last time up. 1-8. This time he grounds it to short. It's another Giovanni's Tailor Shop. Tailor-made double play. And that gets Noonan out of further trouble. And we go to the bottom of the 9th. 10-0 Twins. Blyleven going for the shutout. And he's going to be facing Ripken, Murray, and Lynn. Heart of the order for the Orioles. Let's get the final tabulation on Noonan, get his numbers cleaned up. He went an inning and 2/3. Gave up 2 hits and a run. Walked 2, struck out 1. So there are the gory details. 10 runs on 12 hits and 1 error for the Twins. And now, no runs, 4 hits, and 1 error for the Orioles. It'll be Cal Ripken leading off here in the bottom of the 9th. 1-9, and that's a base hit for Ripken. Hit number 5 for the Orioles. Brings up Eddie Murray. And I'm glad Murray's having a good season. Got a hard time picking an all-star for the Orioles, and so Eddie Murray was it by default. 2-5, and that is a single for Murray, so back-to-back base hits. Really don't want to use a bullpen arm for the Twins if I don't have to. I really like to see Blyleven finish this thing out. That is a 1-6 for Lynn. That's a single 1-5. 6-20 is a line out. And that is going to be a base hit for Lynn. So all of a sudden, 3 straight singles load the bases with nobody out. And the shutout is in serious jeopardy. Blyleven is now tired. And he'll be facing Jim Dwyer. So if he gets one of the dots, we got to keep an eye on that because he would have to come out of the game. His dots against lefties, he got to avoid 4-8 and 5-8. Those are the 2 numbers to avoid. 5-11 is a fly ball left field. I'm sorry, 5-11 is pitcher X. So he's a 2E21, 2 and a 12. So a 2 and a 12 is a G2. And let's see about the error, E21. And that is a 9. There is no 9 there. So we go to G2. The pitcher is considered in, so the infield would be considered in at this point. Bases loaded. It says leader. So they get the leader at the plate. So batter safe, runners out at the plate. So it's going to be a 1-2 fielder's choice. The bases will remain loaded, but still nobody on the scoreboard yet. Still no runs. We get a 1-2 fielder's choice. And that'll bring up Terry Kennedy. A double play would end the inning and end the game for that matter. Blyleven 4-8, and he gets the fatigue roll. So instead of a strikeout, that's going to be a single 2 stars, and that's going to be it for Blyleven. He is going to be unable to finish the game. I was trying to get him through the complete game. It just didn't work out for him. So by my rule anyway, when you hit the dot, you got to come out. The dot is a single 2 stars by Strat rule regardless. I think some people might still play where you can keep going, but pretty much my rule is if you hit that fatigue, I think I got that from Inside Pitch. When you get the fatigue roll, by my rule, I automatically remove him. So we'll need a new pitcher to finish out this bottom of the 9th. So let's see who's got the most rest in the Twins bullpen. Schatzeder has plenty of rest. And so it'll be Schatzeder. Or Schatzeder, however you want to pronounce it. Schatzeder, you can pronounce it either way you like. So he'll be coming on to finish out this game. Blyleven's going to go 8 1/3. And he's going to give up 8 hits, 2 runs, but these 2 are his responsibility as well. He walked 2, and he only struck out. Oh, I'm sorry, he struck out 6. His strikeouts picked up near the end there. So Larry Sheets is your batter. Lefty-lefty matchup. Infield, of course, playing back for a double play. Look at Schatzeder's numbers. He was 3-1 with a 6.39 ERA real world. In the replay, he's 0-0 with a 5.59 ERA, 10 homers, 10 innings pitched, 12 hits, no walks, 5 strikeouts. Sheets 5-6. That's a ground ball second base X. This could be a double play. Lombardozzi is a 2E18, but 2 and a 6 will not be a double play. 2 and a 6 is going to be a fielder's choice. So we get the runner at second base. That's it. Let's see, E18. E18 and a 12. I don't think that's going to be a problem. Nope, 13's the error, not 12. So It's going to be a 4 to 6 fielder's choice. That will score the run as Jim Dwyer scores. Cuts the lead to 10 to 3 with now 2 outs for Ken Gerhardt. That run is charged, obviously, to Blyleven. Ten to 3. Here's Gerhardt. Sheets at first with 2 outs. 4-7, and that is a single, 2 stars for Gerhardt against Schatzsetter. And that's going to keep the game going. One more batter at least. 9th hit by the Orioles, and now with Wiggins coming up, they will go ahead and, well, I don't know. Yeah, Wiggins is not good in the clutch, so we'll go ahead and bring in a pinch hitter for the Orioles against the lefty. Get somebody a little bit better than what they've got out there right now. They're going to bring in Lee Lacy to pinch hit for Wiggins. Lee Lacy, the right-hander. Go to the computer and get Lee Lacy's numbers. Good chance to get Lacy in at bat. Lacy on the replay is hitting 243, 4 homers, 415 driven in. Get 244 real world. Shots that are trying to get this game over with, get this final out. 6-7, but that's a base hit on a 6-7 for Lee Lacy. That makes it a CB game, 10 to 4. Good buddy. Gerhardt just going to stay at second base. Everything's pretty much station to station at this point. So RBI single for Lee Lacy, his 16th run batted in of the replay. And now Ron Washington is going to be called back, and they'll bring in Mike Young to pinch hit. Mike Young. Switch hitter will bat right-handed against the lefty Schatzer. We'll get the numbers on Young from the computer. See how he's doing on the replay. Mike Young. Oops, wrong button there. Let's hit this way. Mike Young. Young on the replay hitting 217, 9 homers, 24 driven in. He hit 240 real world. That's a 4-5, and that is a strikeout for Schatzsetter, and that will end the ball game. Finally, Orioles put 4 up in the 9th, but it was a futile attempt at a comeback. But it does end the game by the score of 10 to 4, and we'll get the totals and get you ready for tomorrow's game in Toronto. So, final line score: 10 runs, 12 hits, and an error for the Twins. 4 runs, 10 hits, and an error for the Orioles. Complete Blyleven, he's going to give up all 4 runs, so his outing doesn't look quite as sharp as it should because of the inherited runners coming in. Schatzsetter gives up 2/3 of an inning, or he goes 2/3 of an inning, gives up 2 hits that allow both those inherited runners to score, and that's it. Both teams left 7 runners on base. So the Twins improved to 43 and 44, 1 away from that magic 500 mark, and you got to get to at least the 500 mark to even think about being in playoff contention. So that's a big sign for them to be able to do that. Go to the standings and see how the Twins are doing in relation to the Oakland A's and trying to catch them. Twins now, with the victory, pull in sole possession of 3rd place. They pull a half game ahead of the White Sox, depending on what the White Sox do with the Yankees. That game will be on Wednesday from Yankee Stadium. But the Twins are now 7.5 back of the Oakland A's. They're now 5 games less than what they were real world. They were 48 and 39 real world. They're 43 and 44 in the replay. So with this game in the books and done, we turn the page for tomorrow's game, which will come from Exhibition Stadium in Toronto. It'll be the Kansas City Royals and the Toronto Blue Jays. Charlie Lebrand, a left-hander for the Royals, against Dave Steve, a 10-game winner for the Blue Jays. So between Steve and Jimmy Key, they've been rolling with the pitching. And that'll be the game for tomorrow. Wednesday will be at Yankee Stadium for the White Sox and the Yankees. And then after that, I'm not sure what the next game in this order would be. I have to look at the schedule, and I try to go east to west geographically. So it could be Texas and Cleveland from Texas if we finish out all the East Coast games. Let's take a look here. Yep, that appears to be the case. Because after the Yankee game on Wednesday, everything's on the West Coast except for Texas. They're at home. So it'll be Cleveland and Texas on Thursday, Phil Niekro and Greg Harris. And then on Friday, we're looking at Boston and Seattle, Oil Can Boyd against Mark Langston. And I'll try to fit in Oakland and Milwaukee and Detroit, California, maybe at nighttime. Maybe they'll do those as primetime games during the week sometime. We'll see how that plays out. Now that the Rockies replay is not taking up my time anymore, I have time to do that. But for sure, tomorrow, it'll be the Royals and the Blue Jays from Toronto. So I do thank you, all you guys, for spending part of your morning with me. Strat-O-Matic Monday morning, Strat-O-Matic and coffee. Hope you have good coffee if you like coffee. Hope you had good coffee to go with the game. I know I did. That makes the games a lot more enjoyable when you have good coffee. So the Twins win it 10-4 over the Orioles. And no game tonight, obviously, for me, for the Rockies. They are done. So next stream for me will be tomorrow morning around 9 o'clock, and it will be this game right here, Kansas City and Toronto, from north of the border, Exhibition Stadium. It'll be game 591. There was another game played on Friday, July the 10th. So that's going to do it from here. Hope you all have a great rest of your day. Till next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and we'll see you all down the road.